Hey y'all, I wanted to jump on real quick and share my testimony with everyone. I know you read the title, which said, I survived a heart attack. And so I just wanted to share my testimony and tell my story of the goodness of God. And so today I'm wearing my But God shirt because, but God, if it was not for God, I wouldn't be here today. So, 3 weeks ago today, I had my first signs of a heart attack. And I know you probably think what I'm thinking, what? And believe me, nobody was as shocked what about what was happening to me as I was. Matter of fact, I didn't even know that what I was experiencing was a heart attack, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to share my story. Besides giving God all the glory right now. So it was 3 weeks ago today, actually. I went to work like any other day. Got off from work, came home. My husband was like, "Hey, do you want to go out and, have dinner?" I said, "Yeah." So we went to dinner, came home like we usually do. Um, you know, I felt like my stomach was a little upset, thinking, maybe you have to go to the restroom. But I started feeling a little faint. And so I decided to go upstairs where he was. And about time I got up the stairs, we have a split level home. And about time I got up to the top of the stairs, immediately I began to have this radiating hot sensation that went across my chest and down both my arms. And so in that moment, my arms felt extremely heavy, and I just felt dizzy, felt like I was going to faint. So, I sat down and my husband was like, "What's wrong? What's going on?" And I said, "I don't know. I just have this hot radiating feeling. My arms feel heavy. I don't know what's going on. I just really don't feel good." So he took my blood pressure. My blood pressure wasn't really that high, maybe like 150, 153, something 154, which is not a high blood pressure for me, and not something that would indicate to me that I was having a heart attack. So after he took that blood pressure, the thought was, okay, you having this hot feeling, so maybe I was having heartburn. I don't ever get heartburn, so I'm just like, okay. So I take Tums. I took some Tums, and when I took the last Tum, I threw up everything that I had eaten. Literally threw up everything that I had eaten just maybe like 20 minutes prior. So, my husband was like, "How do you feel?" And I said, "Well, my chest feels better." So in that moment, I sat down. I felt some, relief in my chest area. Just felt weak. Took a nap and went to bed shortly afterwards. This is the keeping power of the Father. I went to bed. I woke up about probably like, I don't know, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Um, Nothing really was going on, and I didn't think anything of it. My thought was, maybe I'm just up because, I had went to bed pretty early. So from there, I went to go back to bed. But when I went to go back to bed, I started getting that sensation again, like that warming feeling again, and I'm just like, and I'm feeling just a little nauseated. So, at this point, I'm, tapping my husband. I'm like, you know what? I might have to go to emergency. I'm feeling kind of ugh. So I was like, I'm just gonna give it a little chance. Us women, and this is why I'm sharing my story, because a lot of time we put it off because we're thinking it's probably nothing. I'm just feeling a little off. If I lay down, I could sleep it off, or I could sit down and rest. It'll go away, right? So what I do is I decide to take a shower. because in my mind, I'm still going to work, right? So I go, take a shower, feel a little better. I decide to lay down. And when I lay down this time, it was almost I, like the Holy Spirit was like, you got to get up. And then when I got up, it was then I began to have a tightness in my chest. I felt a shortness in my breath, and I had pains going down my left arm, which are the normal, markers. And so by that time, I could barely get myself dressed and get to the car. And so my husband got me to the car. And when I got to the car, I had vomited again. I vomited on the way to the hospital. Thank God that's only 3 to 5 minutes up the street. Shout out to Unity Hospital. They were wonderful. And when I got to the hospital, they immediately did EKG, which my EKG had came back abnormal. They began to do the blood work, and that's when everything was a game changer at that point, because there is a cardiac enzyme that's released in the body when you have a heart attack. To basically, it differentiates between an anxiety, a panic attack, and a heart attack. And so that blood test, those numbers kept going up. So every single time, and my blood pressure at this point was absolutely through the roof because I was having a heart attack. So it wasn't high the day before, but in that moment, it was 170, 180, and it stayed like that. So I had to get nitroglycerin under my tongue. It was just so much going on. I didn't know what to do, what was going on. My husband couldn't come in the hospital with me, so that was pretty scary. But the Lord just reminded me, even in that moment, that he was with me, right? And I needed him to be with me, and he actually gave me great staff who were talking me through all of this. And to be very honest, it still was like not completely dawned on me, like, you are actually having a heart attack, until the doctor said it to me. And I was in unbelief. Tears just began to flow, because I'm like, what, and they were baffled, because, they continued to say, you're too young. I was like, I've never been called young so much. So that was the best thing that came out of this whole thing. So, I ask you all the questions. Do you smoke? No. Do you drink? No. Do you take cocaine? Wow, that's very specific, but no. And all of that. And so I was just like in shock that here I am in my late 40s, don't smoke, occasional glass of wine, never did drugs, and here I am, right, in the midst of a heart attack. Healthy, never have any real health problems. So my journey just began from there, and just like, Lord, what is going on, and how did I get here? Been processing that over the last couple of weeks, but thanking him so much, because we've lost so many people, during this time, during this year, and as I even think about the goodness of God in my life, like, a lot of people have died while asleep from a heart attack. And the night before, my cardiologist, I have a cardiologist now, she let me know, and she said, Tasha, you need to understand that was your heart attack, that the night before, even though the signs that I recognize when you Google a heart attack, the signs are normally like, kids in my neighborhood is usually like discomfort, like someone sitting on your chest, and pains down your arm. For women, sometimes it's back pain or sharp pain in your jawline. But for me, those weren't my symptoms. And so she was like, if you don't remember anything else, you need to remember what the signs of your heart attack is, right? And so I wanted to get on this chair because I was thinking how many women have experienced what I experienced, which was not a weightiness, which was not a sharp pain, but what was like a hot radiating feeling, heavy arms, and not knowing that that was a heart attack, right? And did what I did and went to bed. And so, every time I think about, what it could have been like, what could have happened, um, you know, it it makes me a little emotional, you know. But so thankful on top of all of that about the how much the Father loves me and how my assignment is not um, finished. I have I have to finish my assignment, Um, when you're full of purpose, when God is not done with you, you're here, and I'm here. And so I wanted to just share my testimony. I'm doing so much better, and to be honest, they're really not sure of what caused um, my heart attack, right? And so it was a couple things. What I learned was there's a lot of different heart attacks. I learned that there was a heartbreak heart attack, that people sometimes suffer a heart attack due to severe trauma of losing a loved one, something very traumatic happening in their life, and that causes a heart attack. Um, I I learned that there's another one where I believe she said something like um, the blood vessels constrict so hard that it causes a heart attack to happen, and then it opens up, and then they never see it, right? Because about time the tests begin, it's already opened itself up. And so, or it could have been a blood clot. So I had an angiogram, which was something I don't ever want to do again. It was quite painful, where they go into your wrist and run a line from your wrist all the way to your heart, and shoot dye and take a look. I had a echo echogram, where they take pictures of the heart. No, it's an ultrasound of the heart. And then I had a CAT scan, which checks the lungs for any blood clots. So um, I had a great staff who really, really did everything possible and looked me all over, and there's still not a reason um, for the heart attack. But if I can take away anything from this particular experience, what I will take away from that, it is important to know your body, and it is important to take care of um, your heart. And when I mean your heart, I mean your emotional, um, how you're feeling emotionally. Sometimes as women, we put everybody else first, right? So, we put our children first, we put our spouses first, we put our church first, everything, and we put ourselves on the back burner. And so we learn how to ignore our needs, right? But then our bodies begin to talk to us. And it says, hey, I need you to slow down. Hey, I need you to tend to, your emotional health, and all of that good stuff. And so that's one of the things I've taken away, is to, listen to my body, to listen to my emotions, and to slow down. Slow down. So, ladies, take care of yourself, love yourself, and submit your total self to the Father, for He does care for you. I am literally a living witness of his love. Because when I really thought about it, I was thinking that it could have been a funeral service being planned for me. People could have been posting to my Facebook page memories, but for the grace of God, he allowed me to be here, to love on my family, to be loved by my family, to be with my grandbaby, so all of that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things that we take for granted. My grandmother used to always say, tomorrow ain't promised to you, baby. And I will say to you all, tomorrow's not promised. It's not. But we're safe in the Father's hand. Because I will say this, he gets the victory. And he gets all the glory. So I'm just so thankful for serving the Father and being able to give you, this particular testimony. So, and I hope to share more with you at a later date, but I just felt a need to just share this because so many women just ignore the signs. Don't ignore the signs. Don't put off going to the hospital. Go. If you feel a pain in your chest, if you feel your arms heavy, and that's one of the things my cardiologist said, for women, one of the key signs for us is vomiting and heavy arms, or our arms are heavy, go. It's better to be safe than sorry. It's better for them to send you home and say, you know what, you just have an anxiety, your chest a little tight, but make sure they take that. If I know they always give you an EKG, make sure they take that blood test, because that's what tells if you are having an actual heart attack. Is so important, ladies. The enemy is out to kill, steal, and destroy, but Jesus came to give us life, and he came to give us life more abundantly. So know the signs of a heart attack. So if I could just give anything to you today, is to not ignore the signs and thinking it's heartburn or no big deal. Go get checked out. Okay, so I love you. I thank everyone who prayed for me. I thank everyone who brought me food, who called me, who took the time out to call and check on me. Thank you for those who sent a text. Thank you for those who sent messages of love. I love and I appreciate each and every one of you. And so God bless you. Leave any comments or questions below. I'll be happy to answer any questions. All right.